Today on This Week in Iowa, Iowa leaders react to the new NAFTA deal. Then meet the libertarian who wants to be Ag Secretary. Plus a conversation about E15 and news coming this week. And we're breaking down new data about registered voters in Iowa. Thanks for joining us on This Week in Iowa. I'm Stephanie Engelson. Sabrina has the week off. Soybean farmers in Iowa are rejoicing this week. They just signed a deal with Taiwan. The country will purchase up to 144 million bushels of soybeans from the U.S. over the next year. Sabrina Ahmed spoke to a central Iowa farmer about the impact of that announcement this week.
So the Taiwanese delegation is actually in town to sign a purchase offer for a large amount of soybeans. And so one of their goals in coming to Iowa, and I appreciate our Secretary of Agriculture, Mike Naig, and the Governor and Congressman Steve King for helping organize, was a tour of farmers in Iowa. One of the things I think that we have to offer, especially in a state that is the #1 producer of soybeans, is some really awesome and cool family farm stories, and that not only reveal the dynamics of how agriculture works in this great state, but also how the quality of the soybeans that we produce is actually made. And that is our biggest message to the Taiwan group, is that we can provide you a consistent quality supply of U.S. soybeans.
Okay, so what will that 30% increase of what the Taiwanese are purchasing, what will that mean for you personally and your family farm?
Yeah, at the end of the day, a rising tide raises all ships. And so for them being a demand-driven purchase of soybeans, we hope to see obviously a slight lift in the market for soybeans, as well as an overall boost of confidence in a time when trade and tariffs are all kind of buzzwords that have a negative connotation to our industry. Having a group actually come in, show interest and purchase soybeans is really exciting for us as a farmer.
How are you being impacted by the tariffs?
We've seen the price of soybeans drop dramatically. For a time there, we were even projecting a 15 to 20% decline in our farm income for the year. And so when you look at the impact that the international and global level has at a farm level, it is significant. And so deals like this, where we have an international buyer coming in, purchasing soybeans, that is incredibly exciting and in long term is beneficial for us as producers.
But this won't make up for the tariffs.
No. When you think about the size of China and the fact that they are the largest purchaser of soybeans from the United States, while this is great and we want to see more of it, just this one deal alone will not impact the overall situation that we're in. However, what we as producers are really trying to champion and cry out and use this as an opportunity to say, we want deals like this. We want trade, not aid.
Will that $12 billion package, will that impact your family farm at all?
We will be recipients a little bit of it from the dollars allocated towards soybeans and corn. But at the end of the day, whether it's $1.60 or 1 penny a bushel, that's a short-term Band-Aid on a much larger issue. And I think that the administration as a whole is doing good by trying to address a trade issue. However, the strategy or lack thereof that they may be deploying is one that leaves us a little bit hesitant and somewhat uneasy about when and if the outcome will ultimately be in our benefit.
So what was your reaction after you spoke to the Taiwanese and they sat around that boardroom table with you and they had very interesting questions? They were very engaged.
Mm-hmm. We walked away actually feeling really eager, I think was the word I even used with them, because for us to see not only that they are willing to come on the farm to see where these soybeans are being produced, but also to share their commitment towards a longer-term relationship. That really got us excited. I even believe the general used the term having a long view or long term, which including our farm name in his statement, that really was exciting to hear, and one that I think gives us a lot of confidence that deals like this will continue to happen. And as long as we continue to produce high quality, sustainable products, whether it be soybeans or corn or livestock, we have a position to play in this global economy.
What do you have to say to the average Iowan who might not be directly impacted by these tariffs?
Right. So while the average Iowan may never see an uplift in their personal life or a direct impact, the idea that an international buyer is coming in and putting dollars into the Iowa economy through the purchase of soybeans or buying DDGs, a byproduct of ethanol, or consuming the poultry and the eggs that we produce in the state, it ultimately leads to rural vitality, which is something that our state champions and tries to highlight, but has been in the crosshairs due to a lot of external factors right now. That in turn flows back to the urban areas as well. And so for Joe, who sits in his chair in Des Moines, I really think that they should be excited to see international buyers participating in the greatest industry for our state, because again, at the end of the day, a rising tide does raise all ships, and we are excited maybe to be in the ship that is getting risen, but at the end of the day, this is something that will benefit Iowa as a whole as well.
And the president announced a new trade deal to replace the North American Free Trade Agreement this week. The new deal is called the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement, or USMCA. Senator Joni Ernst calls this a step in the right direction.
So for us to get certain types of dairy products into Canada is a big win for us. So really looking forward to seeing the rest of the deal done. But again, it's providing a little optimism in the market.
And we spoke to Ag Secretary Mike Naig, asking him how he's processing this new deal.
We're all still learning the details here that are in the actual language, but again, I think this is positive news. It's momentum in the right direction, and we'll be hopeful that we'll get congressional approval in time.
The NAFTA deal is far from reality. It must be approved by Congress first, and that vote may not even happen until next year. Well, let's take a quick break, but coming up next, the race for Ag Secretary is heating up in Iowa. We speak to the Libertarian candidate who wants this job next.
A mom so busy,
you've got 7 telephones.
She doesn't have time for her daughters.
You say you ran away while your mom was getting a massage.
Now,
I went for professional help.
Is this the person that told you it was okay to get Botox in a 15-year-old child because they have a bad body image?
Actually, the dentist talked me into it.
What the nannies say.
I looked at her and I was like, are you serious?
All new Dr. Phil.
Monday at 4 on Local 5.
It's hard to miss David Young and his friends attacking Cindy Axne, but I was there working for the state when we hired Cindy. Our program was in the red and in trouble, but Cindy got us back on track. She streamlined our operations and cut waste without cutting services, saving taxpayer dollars. That's the thing about Cindy Axne. She gets things done, and I know she'll do the same in Washington.
I'm Cindy Axne, and I approve this message because it's time to bring some efficiency to Congress.
Go to iowaeventcenter.com/contest to enter to win 4 tickets to Cirque du Soleil Crystal, a breakthrough ice experience at Wells Fargo Arena, October 17th through the 21st.
My mom raised 6 children, all Army veterans. She taught us love of country and the importance of service. I'm Phil Thompson. I've served in uniform, and now I'm ready to serve our community in Des Moines. As your representative, I'll lead the fight for access to affordable health care, prioritize investment in local businesses, and in our education system. Iowa's my home. I want it to remain the best place to live, work, and raise a family.
Phil Thompson, veteran for State House.
Got my picks in.
Welcome back. I'm joined now by Rick Stewart, the Libertarian candidate running for Ag Secretary. Rick, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your time. And we ask everybody the same question to start off with, so I'm going to be fair here. Why are you running?
I'm running because I want to win, and I think that I'm the most qualified candidate for the position. Got a deep background in ag, starting with my dad, a voc ag teacher. It wasn't my own career, but I've been following the whole plight of Iowa farming since I was born, and that was a long time ago.
Okay. Most voters are familiar with Republicans and Democrats. As a Libertarian, what makes you a different candidate in that Libertarian philosophy? What would you bring to Ag Secretary that's different?
Well, most people in Iowa actually are Libertarians. They just don't know it, because we take the best of the left, the best of the right. We don't listen to the fringes, and we give you the best of both worlds. So I like to say we're your best protection against Democrats and Republicans because we come to the table without preconceived notions about what we have to say. We just look at things logically, rationally, and try and figure out what's best for Iowa, what's best for voters.
Let's talk about water quality. It's a big issue in Iowa. A lot of people are concerned about this one. The legislature did pass some legislation. Do you think that goes far enough, and what would you like to see done in the state to protect the water?
Well, I would almost say it goes too far because I don't think it'll work. They didn't really try to solve the problem. They just tried to avoid making people angry and upset, and they didn't do that. I'm angry, I'm upset. I was a polluting state, and that makes me extremely upset because I don't believe Iowans are polluters. It's the thing that has to happen is we need to have a watershed approach to the problem. There's about 42 watersheds in Iowa, and we need to turn each of those into a co-op of landowners. So every landowner is a member, every member gets a vote. Tell the co-ops, okay, your watershed has to be producing drinking quality water coming out the mouth of the river in, let's just say, 5 years. Provide a little bit of an incentive. We don't throw money at them, but a little bit of an incentive to get them going, and tell them solve this problem because it's a landowner problem, and we're not going to pollute in 2023.
Do you think that's something we'll be able to get agriculture farmers on board with?
Well, a lot of people like to think, oh, that's only an ag problem. No, it's not an ag or a farmer problem. It's a landowner problem. Farmers own most of the land in Iowa, but most of the landowners in Iowa are not farmers. It's going to require every landowner, and you bet we can get there. That's not that hard. We already know how to do it. We're just waiting for somebody else to pay. Let me give you a hint. It's not going to be Illinois. It's not going to be Nebraska. And, of course, it can't be Washington because the only money Washington has is our money. So let's just keep our money here. We'll fix the problem. It's a landowner problem. Landowners will fix it cheaply, efficiently, and fairly. Okay, that's what we really need to do. And it's not a political solution. It's just a landowner and a watershed problem.
All right. Let's switch gears here a little bit to immigration and specifically E-Verify. This is something Iowans heard a lot about this summer after an illegal immigrant was arrested and charged with the murder of Molly Tibbetts. Do you think E-Verify is a system all ag businesses should be using?
Well, I think every business, whether it's ag or not, should be only hiring people that are legal, and that's one way to determine that. Looking at the IDs a little bit more closely is another way to determine that. But let's be honest. The federal government has let us down, and I don't mean by not building a wall. I mean by not having a system that people can get into the country that want to get here and want to be productive. We should be auctioning off green cards. We're giving them away, but we're giving them away in a random fashion. And you know, if you're from, just say Guatemala, boy, good luck on getting one. So we need to rationalize the system, control immigration through a system of selling the right to work here instead of randomly giving it away, limiting the total number on an annual basis, and auctioning off the right.
Okay. Until that happens, do you think that agriculture right now is depending too much on immigrant labor to survive and to fill those positions?
Well, I don't think it's a question of depending too much on immigrant labor. The people in ag, they need to hire the most available people that are out there. And so they're hiring who they can is what they're doing. Again, it's a failure by Washington to solve the problem because they've turned it into a political football. Once again, Republicans and Democrats don't want a solution because they get more votes arguing about it. Libertarians, we've always had a great solution to the immigration question.
And quickly, one last question for you. What are your 3 top issues that you would like to solve as Ag Secretary?
I'm going to give you 4, but we've already talked about water quality. The other 3 are when the government interferes with the ag economy by putting in rules that have nothing to do with the free market. Those rules are ag subsidies, renewable fuel standards, and tariffs. Let's just be blunt. Tariffs are for losers. And the other 2, they're something we can have a glide path down. We've got to get rid of them. I say 10 years. Let the farmers land easy instead of crash landing, and then the whole thing will be taken care of. But get the government out of the economy because they'll do nothing other than politicize it. We have already seen what happens when the government is politicizing things. Complete disaster.
All right, Rick Stewart, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you.
Nice to talk to you as well, sir. Thank you so much. And we will be right back.
Introducing Unlimited with Payback, only from U.S. Cellular. The only unlimited plan that pays you back for data you don't use. So, quit flushing money down the toilet with your carrier. Bye-bye. Get Unlimited with Payback, and then save even more with smartphones like the LG K8 Plus, Samsung Galaxy S9, and Galaxy Note 9, starting as low as $1 per month. Hurry in by October 14th for this amazing deal.
Don't believe Kim Reynolds' latest lies. Fred Hubble opposes raising taxes on middle-class families. But Reynolds is giving tax cuts to the wealthy and out-of-state corporations.
We've seen this show before. This governor is taking money we don't have and giving it to companies that don't need it. I came in and helped clean up the film tax credit scandal. I helped put an end to these taxpayer giveaways once, and I'll do it again. It's time we start growing Iowa the right way.
The skills you develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you a head start on your career. Gain practical experience with technology and equipment that will give you a leg up in the civilian world. Learn critical leadership skills and to be part of a team. Serve your community and your country part-time while earning money for an education. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about the paid training and career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
Join us every Sunday at 10 on Local 5 for the Iowa Realty Sunday Home Show, featuring new construction neighborhoods around the metro by the best builders in the market. We chat with builders and Iowa Realty professionals about open house, trends in the industry, financing information, and existing inventory. And our special Great Iowa Home feature each week showcases a luxury home listed by Iowa Realty. Now in our 34th year at 10 a.m. Sunday on Local 5 or at iowarealty.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Joined now by Monty Shaw, Executive Director of the Iowa Renewable Fuels Association. First off, thanks for making the time to come here and talk about a very important topic that we have been waiting and anticipating for quite some time. An announcement anticipated this coming week from the President. It's all about E15. First off, what do you expect? And you never know sometimes. What do you expect the President to be announcing and saying?
I'm not counting any chickens. You never know. But all indications are that in Tuesday at Council Bluffs, President Trump is going to make the long-awaited announcement that he's going to allow E15 to be sold year-round. E15 is, most people out there buy ethanol blended fuel, E10, 10% ethanol. This is just 5% more ethanol. But that adds up when you put it across the country.
How will it impact, you think, our farmers? You know, we're still trying to get back to profitability, even break even. Any market that you get to expand on for farmers is good news. It's good news for consumers, making it a little more affordable. What impact do you think it's going to have on us folks here in Iowa?
Yeah, it's going to have a big impact in different ways. First of all, just psychologically. In the ag community, we've been hit with the whole tariff battles that have shut down export markets. The renewable fuel standard has not been properly implemented over the last year by the EPA, which has reduced our domestic market for biofuels as well. So this is a signal saying, hey, I made this promise in January of 2016 to get rid of these restrictions that aren't needed on higher blends. I'm following through on that. So I think there's an emotional aspect to it. I think that there will be greater sales next summer, so there will be a market impact in terms of corn prices and different things. Now, that's not going to fix everything overnight, but then longer term, this could grow to a several billion gallon a year additional demand for ethanol, which is real money in farmers' pockets, but that's a little bit longer term. So this is going to be great news if it happens, but it's only going to be one piece of the pie, I think.
Just a starting point.
Yeah.
Just to get things going.
You mentioned consumers, though. I mean, where E15 is available, it is usually 5 to 10 cents a gallon cheaper. Any 2001 and newer car can use it. Same mileage, so you're really going to save money. Right now, it's available at limited numbers. We think once you can sell it year-round, you don't have to monkey around with this on-again, off-again. We think most retailers are going to start moving to this pretty quickly.
I want to take you back to news that came out earlier this year with the EPA. You know, the RFS is their program, and it was really undermined by then Administrator Scott Pruitt signing waivers to refineries to not blend in the ethanol. Substantial impact and a real punch to the gut, I know, to a lot of producers and folks that produce the ethanol as well. have we moved on from that? Where are we at now? Because that was a real dark day for us when we heard about that.
The president had promised the renewable fuel standard is supposed to work 15 billion gallons of renewable fuels, corn ethanol, in that part of the program into the marketplace. Well, under Scott Pruitt's EPA, in the dark of night, with no public notice or comment period or anything, he just signed away basically 1.5 billion gallons of demand. That was devastating to the ethanol producers. That sent corn prices tumbling. Yeah. And really, when you did that domestically, and then you had the trade dispute with China and some of these other things internationally, it really put the ag economy in a tailspin. There's now a new leader at EPA, an acting administrator, Wheeler. He has a new round of requests for these exemptions. We're going to wait and see what he does. We've obviously shared with him that this needs to be reined in and not just given out willy-nilly.
Well, and that's just what happened, it seemed like. Where's the oversight when one person can make these huge decisions that impact, you know, in different areas it affects different people, right? Here in Iowa, it impacts us directly and our farmers. What type of assurance? Have you talked to the president at all about our side as you look at this overall picture with the EPA and the RFS, and just how they have so much power with it and such an ability to control things? Have you talked to them? What kind of feeling do you get?
I've not personally, but we have had members of our industry in the White House to talk about this. Our champions, Senator Grassley and Senator Ernst, have had numerous meetings in the White House about this. And, you know, look, the E15 announcement on Tuesday, if it happens, is going to be big news. But after the elections, you know, we're going to be right in there trying to repair the RFS. It's not going to be the end of the story. But it was a shock because we'd never seen it before. Now that there's a little more sunshine on, a little more daylight, we think they're going to have to be more responsible. Mr. Pruitt did not deny a single small refinery exemption, including a request from ExxonMobil, a well-known small refiner.
Well, and I know that people say he has ties to big oil, he's going to look out for his friends, but yet you look at what could be coming Tuesday, and he has said he loves ethanol, he loves the people of Iowa, and, you know, actions do speak a lot louder than words, and hopefully we get some action on Tuesday.
Yeah, I mean, right now, if he follows through on Tuesday, then he's kept his promise. You know, he was actually in Iowa at an Iowa Renewable Fuels Summit, I think it was January 19th or something in 2016, and he said, if I'm elected, I will remove these unnecessary, ridiculous restrictions on higher blends, you know, like an E15. This would be following through on that. There have been other schemes to undermine the RFS that when they reached his desk after talking to our senators and Governor Reynolds, that he has said no to. So far, whenever he's made the decision, it's been good for renewable fuels. But when Pruitt was allowed to go operate in the dark of night, it was bad. And so now we're asking the president, help get the RFS back to where you promised to keep it. And E15 is a great great step in that direction.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us. Really appreciate your time.
Happy to be here.
We'll stand by for Tuesday, I guess.
That's right. That's right. We hope we hear what we think we will.
All right. Stay with us, everybody. Short break.
Over $1 billion for injured clients. $1 billion. Why call anyone else? Call Hupy and Abraham right now.
I grew up on this farm. I raised my children here, and I want them to raise their children here too. But if Cindy Axne has her way, we could lose everything. Like Pelosi, Axne supports increasing the death tax on family farms. Cindy Axne's tax hikes would threaten the backbone of Iowa's economy. Washington takes enough of our money. Cindy Axne and Nancy Pelosi should leave family farms alone.
Congressional Leadership Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Excuse me, this bill is almost double what I was expecting.
Well, it covers all your work, and then some.
Then some?
Like office supplies.
Those are fish.
Well, I'm off to the club.
Then some?
Okay, let's try something new.
And here's your statement.
I could hug you.
Bring it in.
At Aspen Dental, we're a different kind of dentist. That's why we offer a free new patient exam. Schedule online or call 1-800-ASPEN-DENTAL.
Local 5's team of meteorologists track how the weather will affect you.
Mapping at street level, focusing in on your neighborhood. Pinpointing the weather at your kid's school so you know what to expect.
Street level mapping. Another reason Chief Meteorologist Brad Edwards and the Local 5 weather team are Iowa's most accurate.
The Shaws are in the building. You gotta love Reza and MJ.
We make fun of each other all the time. You guys are not strangers to that.
They're loud, proud.
Welcome to the new face of the American gym.
And unapologetically extravagant. The GMA doctor is in.
Start working those glutes.
Advice every woman should know.
I'm excited about this.
And my mom suffers from early onset Alzheimer's.
This special tribute you need to see.
Today at 9
on Local 5.
You're watching This Week in Iowa, Sunday morning talk focused on the political scene in Iowa.
Welcome back. In the 3rd Congressional District, Democrats set a record this year ahead of the midterms. They now have more of their voters registered than Republicans. We have some more interesting data points from the Secretary of State's office to show you. As of October 1st, the total number of registered active Democrats in Iowa was more than 620,000. For Republicans, more than 644,000 are registered and active ahead of the November midterms. And the Libertarian Party, which gained active party status in 2017, has 11,800 registered active members. Now, some more interesting data our team found this week. Judge retention recommendation rates. The results are in from a statewide review from attorneys who are in these judges' courtrooms. Here are the highlights. Judge Rachel Seymour got the lowest percentage score. The lawyers gave her a 68% recommendation of retention. The judge with the highest score, Judge Craig Dreismeyer, he was recommended to retain his seat with 100%. Now, this review is online and available for the public. More than 60 judges are up for re-election. We need to take one more quick break. You're watching This Week in Iowa.
Go to iowaeventcenter.com/contest to enter to win 4 tickets to Cirque du Soleil Crystal, a breakthrough ice experience at Wells Fargo Arena, October 17th through the 21st.
I'm David Young, and I approve this message.
Cindy Axne was asked to name any issue where she disagrees with Nancy Pelosi. Here's Axne's exact response.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think where we stand right now, there probably aren't that many issues that I break with.
Axne and Pelosi support amnesty for illegal immigrants, higher taxes, and a massive expansion of government-run health care.
There probably aren't that many issues that I break with.
Axne stands with Pelosi, not us.
The skills you can develop in the Army National Guard can give you an edge in the high-tech job market of tomorrow. The Guard offers career training to take advantage of your interests in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Gain practical experience with emerging technology and equipment that you can transfer to an exciting new field. Get a head start on your career while serving part-time and earning money to pay for college. Visit NationalGuard.com to learn about all of the STEM career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard.
What a great Blitz game day.
1-point game last year. This is the one that everybody wants to win.
We're, up every morning practicing.
I'm teaching them life through instrumental music.
Meteorologist Taylor Canoes here with an update on our weather potential.
I can't wait to see the kids' faces. I think it'll be really exciting for the town and for all the kids.
Like us on Facebook at We Are Iowa for extensive local coverage. Watch what's happening live and see digital extras, local stories from Local 5.
Go to iowaeventcenter.com/contest to enter to win 4 tickets to Cirque du Soleil Crystal, a breakthrough ice experience at Wells Fargo Arena, October 17th through the 21st.
And we want to thank our guests Monty Shaw and Rick Stewart for joining us on the show. Right now we are working on a Hispanic Heritage special that we plan to air next week. We'll be speaking to all members of the LULAC activist group and Ag Secretary Mike Magg. We hope to see you again next Sunday.